I wanted to update a video that I made in November about when to cut your children off in retirement. I was speaking specifically about Christmas and when do we stop buying them gifts? When do we start worrying about so much about what to buy them, how much money to spend, uh, to do the budget, to do the planning, and the whole thing. I got a lot of really interesting feedback, and probably the most common that everybody talked about is to simplify. We have to simplify what we do with holidays, not just as we're entering retirement, but just because our kids really don't need us to do a whole lot of stuff for them anymore. They don't need us to buy them gifts. Back when my son was in school, he would get, for Christmas, he would get things like shoes, a pair of boots he wanted, a pair of the expensive, athletic shoes, especially with boys. And I know all girls especially love shoes. But boys back then, they loved the athletic shoes. Jerseys. The Bengals won last night. They kept their playoff hopes alive. They've went to the next level, so I'm excited. One of the girls in Sunday school made me a ring, and another girl made me a crown, and I'm not sure what I did with it. It's around here somewhere. Oh, sorry about that, sweetie. Um, that's one thing about being in church. These kids from the very beginning, ever since I lost my husband, the highlight of my week was Sunday school. I teach the little kids. They're just so real, so fun, so loving, so generous, so thoughtful. They're just sweet as pie, and they've always been the highlight of my week, but especially in the last couple of years. So thank you, Lord, for my church family. They're amazing. As far as Christmas this year, I had a really nice time. It was not near as stressful as I built it up to be. I know a lot of it, I think I make things harder on myself. And I think a lot of us do that, especially women. We imagine worst case scenario. If I can't afford to buy them gifts, they're not going to love me anymore. I'm going to have to try to explain why, all that kind of thing. We make it really hard on ourselves. And most of my comments were, stop it, knock that off, quit trying to compare yourself to the sister-in-law that bought all her grandkids the most amazing gifts and everything. She can afford to do that. She's in a different situation than me. Her husband's still here. He's still working full-time as well. So their Christmas is going to look a lot differently than mine. I need to stop comparing myself to anybody. Another thing that I heard a lot in the comments was so many countries and so many families and other cultures, they do not do like America. It's sort of expected once the child is no longer a child, if they're out of school, out of the house, or just old enough to earn their own money, they don't get a lot of Christmas presents. And that's not what the holiday is about. The holiday is about getting together, spending time together, enjoying each other's company, and just loving each other. And that's how it worked out for me this year. I did host on Christmas Day for part of the family. My husband's family invited me to their Christmas dinner, which was a different day, but they invited me to that. It was wonderful. My two sisters-in-law, we got together after that, a day or two after that, for lunch. We went out for lunch together, so that was really fun. A lot of catching up, a lot of girl talk. It was really fun. Nobody thought about gifts. Nobody wondered about what we were getting each other. It was just spending time together. Our daughter, she had a dinner. I think it was on Christmas Eve. So I went up there, got to spend time with the grandchildren, and then she had another dinner on New Year's, and I went up for that. So it's been a a much better Christmas season than I had expected. Um, as you all know, my husband is gone, so it is hard to get excited about um, holidays, vacations, family dinners. It's really hard to really look forward to stuff like that. It is not the same when you are not part of a couple. I'm such a bad friend. It never occurred to me, ever, never crossed my mind back before I lost my husband. When I was part of a couple, I never thought about what people who are not part of a couple, what Christmas Day, New Year's Day, a birthday, a vacation, anything, what that must look like for them, or what it's like for them when they're by themselves. And I've talked to a few people. They always kind of felt like the third wheel. They did not feel sorry for themselves, and they weren't telling me that to make me feel bad for them. But it was kind of like it was really hard to do things when you are not married, not part of a couple, and it seems like the whole rest of the world is. Our church is getting ready to celebrate Valentine's Day, and they are having of course, a big Valentine's dinner for all the couples in the church, married couples. That's great. You should celebrate marriage. Yes, celebrate marriage. Honor the union. Get people excited about it. I heard a pastor this morning. He said, don't just love who you marry, but love who you are married to. Because it's easy in the beginning when you're choosing someone. Of course, you love them and you're attracted to them, and it develops into love and all that kind of stuff. Yes, you want to love the person that you're marrying. But after you're married, make sure that you love the person that you're married to. Because it's real easy, and I did this, it's real easy to sort of, after you're married, especially like my husband and I, we were married for 30 and a half years in our marriage. And you do start, things happen. And I know we're only human. You start resenting that person. You start getting annoyed by them and all of that. And little things just grate on you. So it's easy to take that person for granted. Well, that's what I did when our churches would have, if he was sitting beside me when they were announcing the Valentine's Day couples event that is going to be coming up, we would have been elbowing each other and teasing and laughing and, oh, yeah, it's Valentine's Day, and excited. Well, this time, because I'm not part of a couple, while I was sitting there, I was thinking, oh, this is kind of hard for me. Not terrible, but it's not the same when you're not part of a couple. It's kind of like all the kids in class are celebrating so-and-so's birthday, and you were not invited to the party. And you're just kind of sitting there like, what do? I don't have a story to tell. I was not there. I didn't see the party. I didn't get to ride the pony. I didn't get to jump in the bouncy house. So I'm just sitting there and I'm listening to everyone else talk about what a great time they had. And I got to feeling bad. I thought, all those years, while I'm sitting there next to my husband and we're talking about Valentine's Day or Christmas or whatever, vacation as a couple, all the singles in my church never crossed my mind. Never. I wasn't thinking about this lady back here who had lost her husband 3 years ago, or that guy over there who has been divorced for 10 years, or this other guy who never married. And I never thought about those people and how I bet that is kind of tough for them, or it could be. This could be kind of a tough situation for them, listening to all of us talk about how fun and awesome and silly and amazing it is to be part of a couple. when you do lose somebody, I guess, you're reminded, wow, I was just not a good friend. I was so self absorbed, wrapped up in my own giddy, silly happiness with my husband that I never thought about this person who's lost her husband or this guy who's never had a wife, never been part of a couple. Yeah. So I got this whole situation that I found myself in now. It has made me much more empathetic to other people. And and I pray it's not too little too late, but I can kind of connect with them, and I think about others now where it used to be just myself and just my husband. And oh, we can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. They're going to play games and they're going to ask questions about how you met and what you wore on your first date. Like anybody would remember that. Some people do. But anyway, so I have learned that. The Lord has showed me that in these last few years. But Christmas, it went really well. It was very nice this year. Um, I don't know so much if Christmas changed or if I'm getting used to the situation. This was my third Christmas, my third holiday, the whole holiday season. It was my third season without him. If I'm getting used to it, getting better at just dealing with emotions, getting more thoughtful about other people who they've been in my situation for years. And I'm just now realizing, wow, that sucks. Sitting here in the pew and they're talking about marriage and they're talking about how you met your husband and oh, he's so funny. He leaves his socks on the floor. Oh, don't that just drive you nuts? And I don't know. After church, I'm going to go home by myself. So I am a lot more empathetic with other people in that situation. And I apologize that I was not that way for years and years. But the holiday went well. Nobody got upset because I did about half of what I did previously um, for as far as buying gifts and things like that for all the family. Pretty much everything was pretty much cut in half this year. Nobody got mad. I didn't hurt nobody's feelings. You know, people are a lot better at taking that type of thing than what I always imagine. I always imagine the worst. How was your Christmas or your holiday season? Was it pretty much the same as it's always been? Has it evolved a little bit because maybe your financial situation has changed or your family makeup has changed? Maybe there's some people in the family that your relationship is a little fractured. So that's kind of always a fragile thing when you're getting together for the holidays. In my family, seriously, if you invite some relatives for the holiday, you can't invite other relatives because they hate each other. They're mad at each other. And that's within a blood relationship family dynamic. Some of them, they just cannot be in the same house together. So if you invite this person, you cannot invite that person. And that person will ask you, well, is so and so coming? Do you have that in your family? I don't want to say I hope so, but I don't think my family dynamic is that unique. I'm sure it's a lot more common than what any of us hope for. So do you have any of that in your family where you have to kind of like, well, if so-and-so is coming to the wedding, if so-and-so is coming to dinner, or they're coming to the reunion, I need to let them know ahead of time that I've also invited this other cousin, brother-in-law, grandparent, because they hate each other. They're not going to get along. And then I'm going to hear stories. I'm always like the middle person because I don't get offended by anything. And if you hurt me, take advantage or whatever, I got so much going on, I will literally forget that I'm supposed to be mad at you or that you, I don't know, set my car on fire last Christmas. I'm going to forget about it because I don't get offended very easily. So I hear it from both parties. This party, they tell me their side of the story and why they can't stand her. And she tells me her side of the story about why she reacted the way she did because of what he said 27 years ago, that one Thursday, the weekend before Thanksgiving. So I hear it all. And I always know I'm not hearing the whole story or the real story from either one. They both have their own versions, their own memories of what really happened. So I'm always right in the middle. So that makes it hard. And I just smile and I try to be a peacemaker and I try to mend fences, but you can't. That's them. We can't control what they're doing, just the way that we react to it. And I do try to mend fences. I want people to put the past behind them. You cannot live in the past. You really can't. So that's my role in the family. Are you the glue, the middle person, the mediator, or are you the one who remembers the slight from years ago and you remember when that person said that and she stole your boyfriend that first year you went away to college and then you came back and you found out that she had been messing around with him, all that. Yeah. Anyway, I said all that to say this. Christmas went really well. I pray that yours did too. I pray your holiday season was wonderful. And if you're a Steelers fan, sorry, the Bengals won. Yay. So excited. And I know a whole bunch of stuff has to happen for them to proceed into the playoffs, whatever. I don't care. I'm just glad I got to wear my jersey today. We're getting a blizzard outside. So I'm in here warm. The Lord got me home from church safely. It was a little hairy. I saw a pretty serious accident on my way home because of weather related. Not the weather so much as the person was obviously driving way too fast for the conditions. So I got home safely. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for my family and Christmas. I'm especially thankful for this channel and all of you who are watching. Let me know what you like to hear. What stories or categories, whatever, what types of things you would like to hear more of. I have a lot of opinions, pretty much about anything. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know how your holiday went. And if you're getting any snow where you are you in the path of this blizzard that's basically going to blanket the Midwest and the eastern half of the United States? Are you in its path? Or are you somewhere where there's a warm tropical breeze blowing and you're not missing the snow and ice for anything? Thanks so much.